What kind of reaction will we see from the defending champions? What kind of bite will the Sharks bring? It is they who'll get us underway. George Ford sends it north, and it's taken in by George Hendy. First carry for Angus Scott-Young. Hendy, just one of those who had a time to forget against Leicester. So talented, so richly talented, but error-strewn in amongst a forest of errors. This is Carpenter for the Sharks, and summarily dealt with by Eogan and Alex Coles. Bedlow.
Tackle.
Cowan-Dickey hard into that white wall, and War feeds forward. Good pressure coming on from the former Shark, Curtis Langdon. That's gone backwards, potentially forwards, I think, from Carpenter. Either way, Saints on the ball, and they're looking to move forward through their hooker. Langdon, just one of those, along with the likes of Alex Coles, who spent their time in camp with England, but without being rewarded by a cap at any stage in the Six Nations. Ford claimed that well. Tackled by Pollock. Cowan-Dickey dips and drives. There is a noticeable intensity about the Saints' defence in these early moments. Mitchell claims it, but obstruction along the way by Josh Kemeny. Penalty goes Sale's way.
Yeah, not really surprising that we're going to get that early middle of the field kicking duel, just to try and create a bit of looseness in the defensive structure on turnover ball. But just running back, Kemeny, bit of a block. Johnny Hill doesn't commit to the tackle as a result, or the competition in the air. Some big shots coming in early on.
On your mark, please. Six called.
Just thought Cowan-Dickey needed to play a bit wider. There was a huge tight brick wall in front of him, and there was a bit of space out wide. Don't want to give Northampton confidence by allowing them to make those big shots early on.
Line out secured by Johnny Hill, and Cowan-Dickey steering this in field for Sale. Northampton having to try to stem the flow somehow or other. Slow but steady from Sale. The question is, where's the ball? And Saints might just have done enough. Look at the celebration from Curtis Langdon. It means a lot. They've come here full of intent, and moments like that, little micro moments, really important.
Yeah, but this is just all about ball security. You never put the ball back up behind you. You have to keep it under your body to stop players being able to reach over the top and get onto it. Just exposed there. Angus Scott-Young sees it, jumps over the top. Maybe slightly illegal, goes off his feet, climbing over the top, but when you're at the back there, you have to keep it hidden and allow the next player behind you to come and take it off you, rather than you trying to pass it back and upwards and expose it.
Let's go. Let's go.
So Saints charged with clearing their lines here, you would think, from deep inside their 22. Tom James stationed at fly half, remember, a position in which he has never begun a match or stepped into, even for Northampton Saints. And even in his days with Doncaster and with Bedford, never at 10. So it's a big old night for him.
It's a rare thing in this country, isn't it, for someone to play 9 and 10. In France, it's much more popular. In this country, it tends to be a 12 or a fullback that would step up, play that versatile role of playmaker. But in France, 9's often swap and change.
Yeah, this is true. The Saints' ethos, of course, is to attack wherever possible, and doing their level best to do that from deep. Ram is caught.
Spoke to Sam Vesty beforehand, and one of the things that annoyed him last week was they didn't go on the tap penalties. People were saying, let's go, and they bottled out of it.
Yeah, scruffy old clearance here, and So looking to make the most of it, potentially. Ford pulls the ball back and they drive upfield through Roebuck. War, quick ball to work with. Van Rijn working that tight channel. Quick hands from Curry, and a little bit of space opening up. Opoku for Jaw, keeps it alive. Bevan Rod is there, but the ball has gone forwards, and Saints are rewarded for their harrying defensively.
It's really nice. You see what Sale do. They have so much grunt of physicality up front, but then having that subtlety to get round the corner exposes Northampton. Slightly poor decision there from Opoku for Jaw. Perhaps just keep hold of that because you've got him behind. But you see the development in Sale and the way in which they want to attack. It's not as obvious. They can go to that. But they can also mix it and go wide.
As we pointed out before the game, Sale do force a lot of penalties at the scrum. Big opportunity for Opoku for Jaw, and the man who spilled the not perfect pass on the other side, Bevan Rod. Big battle against Trevor Davison on that far side for Rod.
No. Right. Your mark's there.
Just to reiterate, for those of you who might be a little confused seeing Tom James wearing 10 this evening, it's on account of Finn Smith needing to have his mandatory rest week post Six Nations. They've got that fixture against Claremont at home next Friday in the Champions Cup, and actually, if they get through that, a real opportunity on account of the fact that in the quarter-finals there are possibilities. Benetton or Castra likely, but it's not just Finn Smith, it's George Furbank's injury, it's Hutchinson's concussion, it's George Makepeace-Cubitt's injury, and Charlie Savala as well. So they have been battling away to work out the best situation at fly half. And talking to Phil Dowson in the week, he was just thrilled that Tom James wanted it. He volunteered it, and he said this guy's got bags of character, and he was so happy to see a man who really wanted that job, because there'd be a lot who wouldn't, Hugo.
There would be a lot that wouldn't. There'd be quite a lot that perhaps fancied themselves, and the coaches wouldn't be so happy that they put their hands up. But quite clearly, he's got the skill set. It's just, has he got the temperament, especially away from home, when Sale can get on top of you defensively.
Pollock feeling that in the ribs, no doubt, from Bedlow.
So this is the part of the game which the top 10s can manage. The three phases haven't really gone anywhere. Do we keep playing, or do we look to get rid of the ball before it's too late?
15, off feet, preventing the contest.
Well, that's gone against James Ram. And of course the threat is real, obviously, over the ball. Wherever there's a Curry, there's a problem at the breakdown for the opposition.
Yeah, he's good.
Newsflash. So it's remarkable what he's been doing over the last few weeks, isn't it?
Line is yours.
Just him on that occasion.
Just the threat of Bevan Rod
Line
there.
is yours, and it's outside.
Saw Ram thinking, I've got to win that battle, get down lower, but you have to maintain your body height. And Bevan Rod almost lets him commit the offence in front of him. I think if Bevan Rod goes in there and tries to counter-ruck at the same time, he gets away with that Ram, but because there's no real competition there, easy decision for the ref.
Line out ball from Hill, Cowan-Dickey on the peel, and Roebuck barrelling forwards. Big impact with James, who stood up well defensively, taken on by Van Rijn. War to the line, Opoku for Jaw. Sale building nicely. Ford on the loop, gathering it, trying to draw in the defenders. O'Flaherty, 5 metres away. Nice pick-up by Van Rijn. Advantage here for the Sharks. Bedlow wrestling onwards. War to Ford and wide. What a ball that is. What a step from Roebuck. Plenty to do here to finish. Feeds it back wisely. Back to the short side. Oh, yes! Tom O'Flaherty. Fleet of foot. And sharp of hand as well. That's a great finish. And it's nothing less than the Sharks deserve, you'd feel.
It's going to
I'll tell you what, this took some scoring.
First, yeah.
Good defence from Northampton. But Ford fires it out, and Roebuck knows him inside out, and he knows that Hendy's going to have to race out, just uses the flight of the ball to step back against the flailing defender, and that leaves the space in the wide channel. But we're going to come back on that big shot from Tom James.
As far as I'm concerned, we've got a head-on-head contact by 10 whites. We're going to show you now.
No problem.
It's being checked in the background while all that was going on by the TMO.
Full speed, and then we'll show you the contact
This could be a disaster for Saints.
So 14 into 10. Here we goes the contact. 10 upright.
Okay.
But the only good thing is he loses the collision.
Yeah.
Roebuck wins that. He bounces back. So
which probably
they'll say
changes
low
the colour.
danger. Yeah.
Okay. If you just let me know when we've had all the angles.
Ironic, I think I probably described him as standing up
This is
well
the
in
last
the
angle.
tackle. It's kind of exactly what he did do.
Clear on the contact.
No, okay, so I think we're clear on that. Yeah, so I think the majority of that contact has come through the chest. I do think there's foul play, though, because there is head contact, okay? So we've got foul play. Majority of the contact is through the chest, so I'm starting at yellow card. There is nothing to mitigate it. So we're going to go with the yellow card to 10, but the try stands, okay? Yellow card number 10.
Right, so of all the people, the people on the fields for Northampton this evening, the one man they did not want to lose was their makeshift number 10, Tom James.
It's purely because he's upright that. He actually, you can almost say that it's Roebuck's head that goes towards his, but that's not an excuse. You have to bend at the hip, or it's going to be foul play. It's not an accidental incident. But I think they got it absolutely spot on there. Low danger because he was, in some regards, passive.
It's just going to slide on by. So 5 points to the goods, and Tom O'Flaherty on the score sheet again. This was neat from Roebuck, and in fact Mitchell did well to hold him. But then quick ball, and Hendy just dragged in fractionally too much. And you don't need to offer that man too much space. So another reshuffle, presumably, in the back division for Northampton. Mitchell with the restart from the middle of the park. You go.
Just having a look at the last try, and it's the two wingers working really well. This is Roebuck doing a brilliant job. But have a look at the top of your screen now. O'Flaherty, he carries on working, desperate to get involved in the game. Then he accelerates where the space is, pirouettes, majestic into that corner. A brilliant, brilliant finish.
Once! Inside 5.
Mitchell feeds Dingwall this time, and onwards to Odendahl. Big night for him, his first start since last year's final. You might remember him going off with a nasty knee injury early in the second half at Twickenham. Berger Odendahl.
You have a look at Sale. In their first 3 phases defensively, they have really muscled up against Northampton. In fact, Northampton have lost yards. And the minute you're starting to get slow ball on some of these occasions, you then bring the Sale back row into it. So that's why defensively, Sale have been on top so far. And Northampton, for all of their shape and silky skills, haven't had the joy they'd have wanted.
Dingwall sending it wide, and Pollock is handled, and then he himself takes matters into his own hands as regards Gus Waugh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting clash of characters. Gus Waugh, isn't it? Lots of feistiness there. Just watch Cowan-Dickie here. He's about to compete, and the referee says, no, leave it. Really smart. He could have easily given away a penalty there. As it happens, the play comes to nothing for Northampton. And Cowan-Dickie listening to the ref. So often players find themselves in that area and the temptation's too much. They give away 3 points.
Lovely line-out ball secured by Kemeny. Little charge here from Angus Scott-Young. To the short side they go. That's neat. Mitchell finding Ram. Scott-Young again. Munga has to come back around to assist with the clear out. And that's loose. And it's swept up by Roebuck. And he gets it away. Inside ball to Dupree. That was for Curry all day long. And these are troubling times.
I think
for
that's a
Northampton.
genuine attempt to take the ball.
But the consequence of missing it, if you show the picture one hand and you miss that intercept, I think that's a try. I think that's an assist. Not for me. I think it's reaction. Because I think if Sale catches, they score under the sticks. We'll have a look now as George Ford kicks us into the 22. I mean, it's one bad ball after another. This one goes to the deck, desperate to try and make up for it. If this ball goes inside, let's have a look at Tommy Freeman. Tom Curry's under the sticks.
Both his hands are up there. I think that is harsh. But he's gone to the bin.
And they're down to 13, Northampton. And Sale are throwing some interesting patterns at the gain line as well. Ford into Pollock. War. Quick hands from Van Rijn. Here's Jean-Luc Dupree. Rod holds it back this time. And Bedlow is snared. Trevor Davison up quickly. Ford digs it over the top. There's got to be plenty of space somewhere. Ram anticipates well. 3 Sharks after him.
Because he's been tackled. Okay, 7 lost now. You're off feet.
Mitchell, double pump of the ball, steals a couple of metres.
So important now for Northampton that they're really clearing their exit. Alex Mitchell's at the bottom of that ruck. They have no 10, and their wingers now off the pitch as well. So just being really economical in the amount that you're expending your energy here and trying to get a kick to compete, get the ball back, or kicking desperately long to try and reserve some of that energy source.
Brilliantly taken by Carpenter.
Yeah, it's a great kick, but really well taken.
Ford to Van Rijn. You can just see the blue shirts assembling in great big numbers to the left, and there aren't enough white ones to cope with it all.
Sorry, lad.
O'Flaherty goes beyond the 10-metre line. Saints having to box clever in defence.
What they can't afford to do is lose two people on the ground at tackles. So they'll run out of numbers on the outside.
And it's opening up a little bit for Bedlow. Again to the 10-metre. Bevan Rod through the middle of the ruck. Held by Coles. And they want that. Pollock wants it.
That's tough on him.
Just waiting for Hamish Smales to confirm the steal. Cross-field, they go via the boot. That's brilliant from Curry. And Sale are in for their second. Tom Roebuck this time. And 13-man Northampton just can't hold the line.
Well, they're always going to get done on the width. As soon as Sale were able to get that ball, there's a question mark over whether it should have been a penalty for the competition on the floor. But how good is the trajectory of this kick? Absolutely perfect. Any higher, it allows Hendy to get back over to that wing. Tom Curry just can accelerate onto the bounce, catch it on the half volley. And then as soon as he does, he's aware of where the tackle's going to come from and where the support is. That's a beautiful offload. And Ram over chasing, thinking that he might have to go and tackle Curry if he gets through that first one. Roebuck just wrong foots him again.
And Ford converts. Sale 12 points up. And Northampton finding life very, very tough.
Ben, you're right here. The 2 bits of skill, stunning. That's a gorgeous kick, and this offload under pressure from Tom Curry is exceptional. And Tommy Roebuck, well, he's been doing this for years now, finishing off tries, making it look super simple. But what I really liked in what Sale did there is they know they've got that numerical advantage because you know you've got it. Sometimes you could be in such a rush to score straight away, but they could see clearly, see the picture, and then go and execute and make the most of what they've had.
10 tries in all competitions this season for Tom Roebuck. 30 now in the Premiership for Sale. And Saints right up against it, without James, without Freeman, both in the bin.
Penalty advantage.
Dingwall's having to come in and fish that out. Takes the quick tap. Pollock is away through the first defender and the second. Somehow staying on his feet and offloading quite beautifully. Linking so well with Coles. And here's a Yogan. And that's defiance, but it's also brilliance from the youngster.
Wow. I was thinking when they tapped it, what are they doing? They need to slow this down. But as Sam Vesti said, that's not us. We go quickly. They back themselves, but how about this from Pollock? Through one tackle, through another. Now he stays alive and the control of that offload when he thinks he's going to put it back to the left, to put it out the back of the hand over the top in a basketball-type pass, perfectly placed. And as soon as it's secure, you're thinking, that's got to be a try. They don't panic. Takes the last defender out. That is a stunning score and a huge, huge bit of grit from Northampton.
Well, we saw last week, even in the bleak times for Saints, off the bench, Pollock came on and made a difference. The kicking might be interesting this evening. Alex Mitchell just with the one kick in the Premiership to this point. And Pollock doing what Pollock does.
Oh, he's a lovely player, but I've got to go back to the genesis of where they started from.
You're the tackler.
Their captain, Fraser Dingwall, made the decision, we're going and playing at tempo, regardless of being down in numbers. And when you put people in space, I mean, he wasn't even in space, he just created it himself, didn't he? So much talent, so much quality.
Scrum advantage.
Forwards,
it's gone backwards and bounced forwards off Blue. So still playing scrum advantage to Blue.
War to Rod to Ford. Bedlow, the kick pass. Beautiful for O'Flaherty. Has he kept that in? He has. Rob Dupree does nicely, finds his brother. Opoku Fujor, Curry, ball dislodged.
Backwards. Tackle!
Kemney's taken a big old shot in the midriff there. No. Again, to the kick pass they go, and that's going to beat both Hendy and Roebuck.
The kick pass is a really good option, but what I'm liking about it...
Should be Sal's ball.
What I'm liking about the kick pass is they're actually going a couple of phases into midfield, so that Northampton have to stay. So they go to one side, and the kick pass, what, 15 metres, but the width is there, but Northampton have to stay defensively. As they come back the other way, they hold those defenders. Not quite as accurate as George Ford would have wanted. Maybe got the ball slightly later than he would have wanted as well, but Roebuck was calling for that for a long time.
Tom James back on the field. Northampton back up to 14.
Ball's still. Ball is available.
Still a handful of minutes to play out for Tommy Freeman's return.
Hands away!
That try, by the way, for Saints coming after 2 hours and 10 minutes tryless in the Premiership. Not something we associate with this Northampton side.
I'd say the other thing is
line's
just
yours.
a few carries they've had. Sale have dominated everything. Saints are averaging 1 carry a minute currently. They're on 21 carries. Starved of the ball.
War into the midfield comes Bedlow. That's the trademark carry up the middle from the big man. Dupree. War, who's enjoying what's happening at the base at the moment. Carpenter siding through, space opening up. Roebuck in for his second. Utterly ruthless from the Sharks. They are seizing the moment here. Saints undergunned and Roebuck flying.
I'm glad I highlighted the wingers before the game, because these Sale wingers are flying at the moment, but it's their intricacy and timing on the edges. George Ford, he does so well just to attract defenders in around him, and then the timing of the passes. And having wingers that roam and come off their wings, as we've seen from O'Flaherty, now from Tom Roebuck. 3 tries for Sale, 3 tries to that. Ooh.
Is that over the line?
I don't know.
Yes.
Has anyone heard from Stu?
They'll check it again, but this one's wide from Ford's.
He said it, Hugo. It's how they drift across the field.
It looks like he regathers, mate. Nothing clear.
Okay.
Just that communication between the officials, but just how
just stop the game,
those first 2 players drifted across the field, almost tempted.
Time off.
the defenders out of the line, and then Carpenter could just straighten up on George Ford.
Sorry.
And you're already in behind the defender.
Okay, all good. Jamie, are you happy? Okay.
Sam Bedlow's being removed. We'll get a read on the reasons for that. And Will Addison has replaced him in the midfield.
No.
Clearance is strong. This is the Roebuck finish again.
Well, then
So
don't just
both
go
Rod
screaming, keep going.
and Ford falling away slightly, just tempting those defenders to keep running forward, and then Carpenter could just straighten in behind.
Scott Young tips it back. Odendahl. Mitchell to Langdon this time. Pouring back towards the heavy traffic. That is a ferocious shot from Ernst van Rijn. Pollock again on the scavenge, keeps it alive for Saints, and then it's Sale's ball, and Johnny Hill has effected the turnover.
What a hit that was. Just that little inside ball round the back of the breakdown, trying to get the guard defence napping a little bit. Van Rijn steps in.
If it's clear, he'll pick it up.
And then he bounces straight back out.
Yeah, thank you.
Timing of it's perfect. That door was shut.
Second sin.
Works well on Tuesday.
Head to the line, please, White.
Oh my goodness.
Head to the line.
Folded.
Yeah.
He does so well because he goes to Dingle, doesn't he, and just checks that his Dingle's not going to go himself, and then bounces back off him. There would have been a moment in all that where James Ram thought, yeah, I'm dead.
Come in, reasonable.
He's got me.
Go.
There's nothing I can do to step him.
Inspired by Bill Matter, perhaps, from last week.
My goodness.
Here come the Sharks again. Freeman back on. So 15 aside again.
In front. Yep.
Ford to the space.
Yep.
Ram. Well, it'll do. But it ain't pretty.
The difference in attack, what I'm seeing, especially off set piece, it's just the momentum that Sale are getting off first carries versus what Saints are getting. That just provides such a platform. Look at the time George Ford's got. Goes for a 50-22 of that second phase, is able to orchestrate territory where this game's been played and at what pace.
Gone backwards off blue. Kicked forwards off blue. White hold.
Addison's boot. And then Mitchell's clearance. Carpenter backtracking well.
Blue, come out.
Tom James. Again, harried and hustled, and not the distance that Phil Dowson would have been after.
That last, you're talking about ball carriers winning the collision, but watch Tom Curry here, the quality of the clear out. That's what gives you the extra momentum. Taking out the tackler with your support players buys you an extra 1.5 meters, 2 meters.
Sorry.
Fords varying the attack nicely. That's jabbed into the 22, and Curry was chasing hard. Ram gathers it in and does the tidying job. Here's Hendy, afforded a little bit of space, tries to thread the pass to Pollock, but O'Flaherty was there, and then Roebuck drops it, and Saints will have the put into the scrum.
2 knock-ons, no. 2 knock-ons came first.
It's interesting what you guys were highlighting, because weirdly, although we'll have another look at the Hendy half break here, but the Sale DNA is all about that physicality, heavy in the carry. Statistically this season, the fewest carries, the fewest post-contact meters, the second fewest
Let's get it stable before the ball comes in, okay?
Meters made. It's just a weird stat for a side filled with the characters that they have, and today, of course, we're seeing a slightly different feature. They're getting full value for each little piece of their possession, seemingly.
Just having a look at it in terms of momentum, Henry Pollock right here, he's going to look to get himself out into this space. He really has to. The other big fella is Odendahl. See him and exactly what he does, just trying to get into this space, getting them some sense of game line so that they can actually start doing exactly what they need to do, and that's a brilliant carry.
Fabulous from Odendahl. Pollock riding the challenges, trying to get the fend in on Jean-Luc Dupré. Witt found, Freeman found. And some strong defensive work from Carpenter in that 5-metre channel. Coles.
No, it's gone back.
Lays it up. Ram. Kemeny.
Penalty advantage, slow to move, blue fall.
Jürgen. And options here for Saints, knowing that they've got the advantage in behind them. That, though, goes forward from Tom James, and they'll take that penalty from the 10-metre line.
Moving out, number 4.
Once again, I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, when you get that first phase right and you can get that momentum, it just allows you to be able to play a little bit quicker, get into their shape and put pressure on the defence. And a couple of times, Sale haven't given away many penalties, but it's just put pressure on them, which has allowed and enabled them to be able to start playing a bit better. That's a cracking tackle. Look at the amount of bodies in there. Curry can't play. Pollock's round the corner now, and they can add that pressure.
Let's get the setup.
So, genuine opportunities here inside the opposition 22, and Freeman bursts through. Quality.
Try that.
We know he's got that quality. It's not just the pace. It's that first up power that's so hard to contain. The angle was strong, and the finish excellent.
Everyone probably expecting at least a mini drive from Northampton, but no, straight off the top.
Thank you.
Give him a one-on-one, and Rob Dupree is going to be having nightmares watching that one back. It's a good angle, but he just goes one-on-one, drops the shoulder. Rob Dupree doesn't get his right arm up high enough. Almost catches him with the outside of the shoulder, but strong running, power game, but Sale will be livid with that.
Just creating those one-on-ones. And when you've got players in form like you've got with Tommy Freeman, who's playing rugby on cheat mode at the moment, you give them a one-on-one, outside shoulder, bump, bounce, try.
Let's have a word with James Craig, part of the coaching setup with the Northampton Saints, of course. James, you've come right back into this contest, but goodness me, it's been a tough old start, hasn't it? Those 2 yellows, oof, ouch.
Yeah, it didn't make the front end of that game particularly easy. We obviously struggled to get out of our half, and eventually Sale are obviously going to make you pay. The longer we spend in our back end defending, they're a good team, they're physical. They're going to come up with some kind of result if we spend that much time in our back end.
You were always going to need to show resolve and resilience here tonight, particularly given what happened a week ago. Are you seeing that from everybody out there? You will have discussed how this first half hour would hopefully unfold. Are you seeing what you're after now?
Yeah, there's tons of fight in there from the boys. They're scrapping away, they're being physical. See some of the sets when we're defending. 2 men down, the lads are fucking... Sorry.
They're what, sorry?
They are working very hard.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they're working very hard.
They don't want to be doing that, they want to be playing rugby.
Sorry, lads, there's a line-out going on. You can't assume fair. Apologies, Mum. Yeah, I mean, we can't ask much more from the lads in terms of effort. Clearly, there's going to be difficulties with TJ at 10, but we've spoken about that. We've just got to get stuck in and rip into whatever comes our way. If we keep fighting, we're confident over the course of 80 minutes we'll get something.
Good stuff, James.
Sorry, lads.
Thank you so much. No, well recovered. Great job.
Yeah. Commentary after dark.
Yeah, apologies everybody for the little slip of the tongue. And on go Sale Sharks. It's very difficult talking to a line-out coach in the middle of a line-out. You have to have some sympathy. War and onwards to Johnny Hill. They're building here, the Sharks. They want their bonus point try. Ford looking to massage those defences, but the tackling is strong, and the ball is back with Northampton, and Pollock's sending it way upfield. Where's this going to bounce? It's fallen eventually for Sale, just behind the 10-metre line.
No hands.
Johnny Hill did really well there under massive pressure.
You're off your feet. Surrender on the floor. No.
Wall's box kick. And Ram
backwards off
leaping
right.
highest. Challenge, though, from O'Flaherty. Here's James.
Here.
Eogan. One of the Saints try scorers tonight. Mitchell would like, he felt like he wanted some territory there. It's gone straight up in the air, and he's tidied it by claiming it himself. So it's turned out well.
Kicker caught it.
All except the fact that their scrum half is at the bottom of that pile of bodies. And it's made life very difficult, and Langdon, I'm not sure he can do enough here.
Ball's there.
That's Sharks' ball. Again, it's Hill making a menace of himself. Ford, Dupree, quick hands from Carpenter, and Roebuck driving towards halfway.
Scrum advantage is over.
Bevan Rod slips through the challenge of Angus Scott-Young. Ford fizzing up to the gain line, forwards from Addison though, and the intercept very nearly from Mitchell, not far away.
It's nearly very nice for Sale Sharks, just the drop pass, just look hiding out the back and then pops out on the shoulder of Apoko Fajor. Could have been very nice for Sale, but very quickly it could have been very nasty.
It's a funny old game, isn't it? Because you look at what Northampton have had to contend with, 2 yellow cards, Sale are flying 3 tries from their wingers, and it's a 5-point game.
Yeah,
5-point game without loads of internationals. Mitchell's not kicking at his best today, and you expect him to take great responsibility in their half to be able to clear.
Yeah.
But he does brilliantly well to recover, gets himself up there. There's that panic sometimes when you make a small mistake to try and clear it up, and he does that really well.
Saw all the Sale forwards though. It was almost, what do we do with that? It's just gone straight up in the air, and Mitchell went, well, I'll have it if no one else wants it.
Nobody was really expecting that outcome. But you feel like Saints have done a brilliant job actually to rebound from that opening blitz in the first quarter of an hour or so. Those 2 yellow cards, they fought their way back in. So you say, Hugo, just 5 points separating them. And I think they'll be telling themselves if they can weather that sort of storm, it surely wouldn't get much worse up here, down to 13 men and Sharks everywhere.
Let's go, speed it up.
If they can do that, then anything is possible here for the remainder of this contest.
Yeah, their away form's not been great. Sale's home form is excellent, but they're properly in the game. Just really focused now on a decent
overlean
decent scrum
set piece. Yeah.
Overlean.
You mentioned the away form of the Northampton Saints. Their last league win away was in the final, if you count that, at Twickenham. Now they're letting this drop, and that's dangerous, and Langdon has work to do. Curry all over him. James, and making a really important break. Ram reaches the 10-metre line. Coles. Mitchell. Odendahl.
Okay, you're off your feet now. Holding in front.
James lies a little deeper, looking to test out that back 3. Ford sends it long. Ram is waiting. Carpenter and O'Flaherty have chased well. Davison to Eogan, and Bevan Rod with something of a shot stopper. James, lovely flat ball for Pollock. In some space, opens it up for Odendahl. Support lines are good on the inside. Odendahl goes himself, drives into the 22. There were 3 men queuing up inside him. Scott-Young now drives hard for Northampton. Important moments these as we bear down on half-time, and into the midfield they go, and guess who they find there? Tom Curry.
How lovely is this pass though? So direct, so flat. Pollock just swerves on that outside. Odendahl lift it into the space.
Time off, please. Time off.
You back run from there, don't you? But the pressure there from Curry just gets in the eye line of Curtis Langdon. and it's that defensive press
someone's come and have a look at him, please.
and presence, which has probably been the key differentiator, I think, in this first half. Alexander's will be thrilled with their level of physicality.
So, if it's clear, you'll look at it. Just get that blood sorted too.
What Pollock did really nicely there was
Sorry,
carry on running towards the touchline. Because if he'd straightened up, I don't think he would have tempted that next defender to come towards him. And the next defender would have thought, well, eventually the defenders on the inside will catch up, but Pollock forces him to commit.
Odendal not happy with that tackle in that wide,
he'll come to me
wide channel.
Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on.
Stuart Terridge, our TMO.
We're checking everything.
Here we go.
We're going to have another look at this challenge here. Yeah. Well, George Ford...
Hamish, we're going to need to look at this, please.
Okay.
It's because Ford goes upright. Again, it's almost identical.
They're going to go up there.
But Ford soaks up the tackle, so the danger isn't high, but he could well get a yellow
Hamish
here.
took us all a bit of time.
Particularly with what's happened to Tom James earlier on in the game.
Thank you.
Here we go.
It's a bit of ground to make up here for Hamish Smales.
13 running down the line, steps inside, cover tackle, collision, there.
Okay.
We just need to get the contact point. Here we go. There you go, Hamish. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I think it's pretty similar.
One more.
One more.
So a step inside, high, side, head on, head, side.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Stu.
Well, it's head on head, isn't it?
What I'm seeing here is we have got foul play.
Is it his side head or his head?
We've got an upright tackler. He's passive in that tackle, so we're starting at not high danger. Okay, so we'll go with a yellow card. I don't think there's any other mitigation, so we're going for yellow card for blue 10.
Well, this is a rarity, a yellow.
Perfect, thank you.
For George Ford.
Johnny, you had that mark, didn't you? Perfect, thank you.
I think he knows what's coming.
Number 10, please. 10 yellow cards.
Exactly, yeah.
First yellow card in the Premiership for George Ford in 11
Outside
years.
The 22, on the 15 mark, about 5 metres.
So both fly halves this evening
on the 15
have spent time in the bin
15.
now.
Perfect. Thank you.
How big is this now for Saints?
Oh, actually on the 5. Apologies, Hamish. 5.
Sorry, on the 5. On the 5. Yep. On the 5, please. 9. 9. Here, please. Here. Thank you.
Right, into the corner from Mitchell. He would have liked that to have been another 10 metres further towards the opposition try line. It's left rather a lot to do here from this line out. Pollock feeds and Hendy's off his wing, and he's bouncing into and beyond Rob Dupree. They're finding a bit of traction there in that midfield. Remember that Freeman score. Still they come through Kemeny. 2.5 minutes to half-time. Scott Young for Northampton. Mitchell to Pollock.
5, move out!
Tries to turn.
Rolling the other way.
Johnny Hill is the man being instructed by Hamish Smales. Crossfield kick from Tom James. Hendy waiting. Too much.
Ready to touch.
Almost a bit of a Hail Mary, that, wasn't it? Knew there was defence there, but just backed Hendy one-on-one against Roebuck. Maybe too much height on it, Hugo.
Way too much height, and respectfully, Tommy Roebuck's one of the best in the league in the air.
Time off. Yeah, time's off.
I mean, that kick needs to be picture perfect, which it clearly wasn't.
It depends if he's fit or not, then they might change him, so we don't want to give you one set and then you change it and then
just
you start screaming
George Ford tackle, very similar to Tom James. The problem is if you're not a great tackler, that's not the big part, and obviously there's a mismatch between Odendal and George Ford. As soon as there's any indecision, you sort of start standing up and trying to make room, and that makes it even worse. You've almost just got to commit early, get those hips bent, get down low.
That's all right.
It's quite a
so
standard.
Your marks on your front man, please.
Number 10 soak, isn't it? Just to let the pressure come on. Looks like
time on, please.
Bevan Rod's keen to crack on with the line out. Just a reminder, tomorrow we're at the Rec at 2:30. for their game against Quins. Exeter Newcastle 2:45 on Discovery Plus, and Gloucester Bristol, the tea time kickoff 5:15 from Kingsholm.
Thrown across and he's landed on the lifter. Number 6. Thrown across, landed on the lifter. Number 6. Thrown across. Nice, John.
Josh Kameny picked out here, Ben. Your facial expression suggests that you might think that's harsh.
We want a competition. We want people to jump for the ball. And occasionally there's going to be a bit of contact, but it didn't really distract them all for me. Sale were driving that well. He comes across, he catches Bamba slightly, but he doesn't put him off. Come on. Let's not have penalties for the sake of penalties.
Cowandicky to the tail.
No contest.
No contest, so the fact that it wasn't all that straight didn't matter.
Once.
Final minute of the half. Instructions from War. Cowandicky breaks away.
2 trip.
And that's gone against Curtis Langdon.
You're fine there.
Hamish.
Number 2 trip.
Hamish.
Yep, Stu, I'm happy I've got the trip, and it's just a penalty.
Okay.
Thank you. Got a mouth guard activation, okay, number? Is it triple? Sorry, hold on. On. Okay,
Trip here
12.
from Langdon, just
12
as
white.
that's
cynical,
cynical, isn't it?
Off you go for
I know
HIA.
he's given the penalty, but it's a pretty cynical, deliberate attempt at foul play from Langdon.
There you go, penalties there.
Well, Fraser Dingwall's come off for head injury assessment. That's been triggered by the smart mouth guard. So Tom Litchfield has come on in his place for Saints.
Here we are, please, on the blue. Thank you.
And we're seconds away from the half-time whistle. There's Litchfield. 6 Premiership starts this season, deployed all across the back division, really. Centre wing, full-back.
Thank you. Maul.
Ben Bamba gathering it in for the Sharks, the former rugby league man.
5. No effect. No, thank you. Stay there. Use it.
Addison waiting. Has it now. And it's been knocked on. That is half-time. So hold those celebrations, Northampton fans. It's been a very testing half for the visitors, for sure, having to deal with the yellow cards issued to Tom James and to Tommy Freeman in the opening quarter of an hour. O'Flaherty and Roebuck twice the try scorers for Sale. Northampton hitting back through Eogan and Freeman, and at half-time, delicately poised. Sale 17, Northampton 12. Real sense of urgency about those pictures within the Saints camp. Phil Dowson animated, and you would think,
We're waiting on the telly.
telling his charges,
okay.
you've got every chance here. You really do. Thread some proper possession together and see what's possible, because they've had their chances and there will be more, and they've had to come through so much to this point.
Be onside. No. Use it.
Their season depends upon it. We've mentioned it many times. It's extremely unlikely they make the playoffs, but they've simply got to get bonus point wins pretty much every week. Here's Pollock, who's going to make that a possibility, potentially. Oh my goodness! This guy, come on! Something from nothing. It's a special talent, and you can see teammates shaking their head in disbelief, but they see it. They see it all the time in training.
He's got everything. It's the strength to get him through initially, the confidence to chip over the top and back his pace. Look at that on Cowandicky. Massive shot from Cowandicky, but he rides it. And he doesn't ride it by going through him. He just goes with the contact, keeps his balance, and then that little chip over the top, perfectly weighted. He's a little bit fortunate with the bounce. Could have gone anywhere, but you make your own luck. And when things are going for you, they tend to keep going for you, and he is staking his claim. Hugo started talking about a certain selection at the end of the thing. I mean, we were all thinking it's too early, but if you're playing this style, we've seen some players go before, right at the beginning of their international journey, maybe not going as first choice, but in the squad, and then something happens along the way. He's definitely in the conversation.
You talk about things happening. Things happen around him, but they happen for a reason, because he chances his arm. He's got that ironclad belief, Hugo.
I don't think it is too early to talk about him and the tour to Australia. He is on fire. He's flying. And you're right, that sense of positivity, it's so infectious. Things do happen around him, and he's dragging Northampton. He's dragged them straight back into this game.
Is it because he's a forward that people are saying, oh, it's too early and things? Because if he was a wing doing stuff like that, he'd definitely be in the conversation already.
Well, I mean, there's a versatility to his play, of course. You know, mostly deployed on the open side. It's where you might expect him to end up, but he's been playing a lot at 8 for Northampton. And you think about Caelan Doris, obviously kind of nailed on selection. Actually, out and out 8s. There aren't huge numbers of them. They might take Talope Faletau.
Yep.
Otherwise, Jack Conan, again, a kind of 6'8". I mean, this is remarkable. That's his first Premiership try, by the way. 11th game in the league, and his 4th Premiership start.
I'm a fan.
Okay, let's go.
Hard not to get excited. Long way to travel, of course. But every time he's been asked to step up, he's managed it. And I think that's one of the key factors. He talked to Phil Dowson about him. He knows that he's got something very special on his hands. It needs managing, as all young careers do, Ben. But I think that belief, self-belief, and the energy levels are something that will serve him very, very well over the years. Mitchell from the base on the gather, a little bit clunky, or Derek's gone forwards, and Sale will regroup as a consequence. But the scores are level at this point. Ford still off the field, remember, after that yellow card.
Just having a look at that Henry Pollock try, there's a really nice bit by Angus Scott Young. Just have a look at him. He just managed to get on the inside of that Sale defender, which opens up that gap. The rest of it, I mean, that's pure Pollock. Absolutely sensational swerve, chip and chase. The energy that emits off this fella is sensational. And people will be screaming at their telly, saying, what are you talking about for the Lions? Do I think he's a starter for the Lions? No. Would I have him on that bench to bring that energy 20, 30 minutes? I think it's a decent option.
Crouch!
Turned 20 in January.
Set!
Scrum penalty to the Sale Sharks, and they'll just be wanting to draw the sting at the moment here. Just gain a little bit of traction and field position potentially, particularly while Ford isn't with them.
Standing up.
Flagged before the game, that scrum has been a huge weapon for them. Second in the league in terms of number of penalties won at the scrum. That's a big moment for them.
Here.
Reeling a bit from that Pollock try, give themselves field position, allow them just to wind some more of that yellow card clock down.
It's a little love-in between Cowan Dickey and Curtis Langdon, who will have spent the last 8 weeks or so in each other's company with England. Clean take at the line out from Johnny Hill. And Sale moving upfield with purpose, with an advantage as well. Lovely transfer into the midfield. And quick ball for War to work with. A little bit of space potentially on the outside. And Carpenter can't release his mate Roebuck this time.
The Addison pass couldn't have been timed better. The run onto the ball is good. I think from Dupree, and then that drift out does everything. Holds on to the player so Hendy can't slide off, keeps him at arm's bay, creates the perfect opportunity, just can't quite hold that final pass. That would have been very, very nice.
Searching for a hat-trick, Tom Roebuck, and Will Addison, always been a classy performer, always seems to have time on the ball. He's been struck down so many times with injury.
Wait till he's on the ground.
Second spell at Sale, of course, for Will Addison.
Get you set up right.
George Ford back with us, and at what seems like a critical moment. Again to Hill in the middle of the line out. In comes Jean-Luc Dupré, and a little bit of extra support from Rob Dupré. Gus Ward's got eyes on the ball, seemingly. I think it's with Bevan Rod here. Northampton can't hold them. They're over. Bevan Rod, 100 appearances for the Sale Sharks, and the bonus point tonight against the defending champions.
They get it set up really well. From Hill's jump, the way Hill lands makes a perfect platform that they can all bind into. Just watch this. Hill, straight body, lands, huge barrier. They get the ball safe in the back with Cowan Dickey, and then they don't panic. Langdon pulls it down a little bit, but Bevan Rod just decides he can see the line. As soon as he's got it transferred and away from trouble there, Munger can't change his bind, and he just accelerates through, finds the line. Really powerful drive from Sale, and that will be a huge worry for Northampton.
So the Sharks with their try bonus point, the full 7 points banked. Bevan Rod score, and we've got a change being made by the Saints. Joano Augustus has come on.
Should just mention Rob Dupré in the middle of that, the centre, right at the front, doing a brilliant job of keeping Northampton at bay, keeping Sale moving forward.
Goes round. Here's Augustus off the bench. He's joining Ulster next season. This is his final campaign with the Saints after some 4 seasons. Langdon
Friendly fire there.
taken low.
No. Henry Pollock stayed down, holding his knee.
He's in a good deal of pain on the 10-metre line, which is heartbreaking to see for any player.
10 from me, please. 10 from me.
Such a
more. 10 from me, thank you.
Dazzling display to this point. It would be a great shame to lose him.
Time off.
Carpenter is going to wait.
Your man.
Before he clears away. So let's have a word with Byron McGuigan, the Sale defence coach. Byron, you would have thought, presumably, first 15-20 minutes, you'd set a great platform. Back they came. It's going to be that kind of fight tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we spoke during the week about making sure that we start fast. We know Northampton's very dangerous, particularly that first 20 minutes. But thereafter, we know they're a really dangerous team and they strike really fast. So we've got to be mentally engaged, super urgent, and we weren't on that quick tap, and they made us pay straight away.
With that first 20 minutes, you were definitely physically engaged. Has there been a plan to really go after Northampton Saints in those first 3 phases? Because you seem to dominate and suffocate them and stop them from playing early on.
Yeah, certainly, you know, it's the first 3 phases, but for us, it's every phase, every opportunity we can to have an opportunity to physically impose ourselves. We want to be doing that.
Brilliant. Byron, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to wait and find out. I don't
Half
know.
an hour to play, and Pollock at least up on his feet. That's a thumbs up to the medics.
Everyone happy?
And no doubt a great relief to Phil Dowson at this point.
Time back on.
Business to attend to in the final half hour here. James Ram threads it infield for Tommy Freeman, who's try in that first half was his 50th in all competitions for the Northampton Saints. Now up to 35 in the Premiership itself. James to the line, here's Freeman again.
Tackle, release!
Roebuck making the tackle.
This is the hardest area, I think, for Northampton, of course, because they're missing the quality of someone like a Finn Smith, but just understanding when to kick, the quality of kicking, which hasn't quite been there, but that's a lot better from Alex Mitchell.
No.
Carpenter linking nicely with Roebuck, as he tends to do. Those two great mates. And an excellent chemistry on the field.
Use it.
Gus Walls kicked very well tonight.
Another nicely weighted one.
Backwards.
Which evades everybody, and Mayana Vanua thought he was onto that, but forwards it went.
Had to gamble. It was there to be taken. Nearly picks it up, doesn't he?
They might come
First one came off the head, but as that one touched the hand first,
okay,
clear knock on.
Yes.
Timo Mayana Vanua on for Chunyamunga in that second row for Northampton. Part of the Fijian side that beat England at Twickenham a couple of years ago. Apologies for the language, which we're hearing quite a lot of this evening, by all accounts, not just from the players.
Set and hold, please.
Bar of soap ordered for Northampton Saints. Mouths washed.
Crouch.
So with Augustus's arrival, Pollock is packing down on the flank now.
Okay, so get there.
Still trying to run off that knee injury.
Yeah, please do.
Just hope that it's a bang, didn't it? It looked, from how he went in on the clear out, like he might have just caught the top of his knee while it was bent on something hard. That was someone's head or hip or something, but let's just hope it's that rather than something that's twisted and damaged.
Straight down in that front row, and it's Northampton who have the scrum penalty. Pollock with the ball, and Saints with the impetus.
Not tackled.
Odendahl makes good ground. Here's Augustus, who's been charged with making big bruising carries since he first arrived at the club.
Missed the ball!
Fished out by Kemeny. Over the top to Hendy. Well, somehow that's wound up in his hands again, but touch was found in the interim.
Touch.
Oh, some good carrying in there again from Northampton, but they just miss Tom Curry and allow him to slow things down. It's a desperate attempt to take Tom Curry out of that breakdown. Just wondered if there'd been a slight neck roll in there to get rid of him. Let's have a look. Really good from Curry, wins that battle. So that's a neck roll for me. I think they've got away with it a little bit there.
Okay, so
I'm not so bothered about the second one because that's legal. It's a clear out. It's a tough clear out, but
give you time.
Certainly the first bit of it, Curry might feel a little bit aggrieved.
Just
happy?
Yeah, pretty pretty merciless.
Stand back on, please.
That clear out from Mayana Vanua. Roebuck being checked over. One of those who will he might wind up in conversations around the Lions selection. Potentially Tom Roebuck, you think he'd be a little way off it. More likely is the trip to Argentina for England this summer, which is going to be a very, very stiff challenge in its own right. Hugo.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to say Argentina perhaps on par with Australia's the most improved Tier 1 nation this year. Absolutely excellent. We've been in camp, I think, 3 weeks ago. Felipe Contepomi got them together for fitness testing. They've been at some of the Six Nations matches, keeping a very keen eye on this England team. They are full noise for this tour this summer.
It'll be interesting. England shorn of their Lions, of which there probably is a greater number now than there might have been in the early part of the Six Nations, you'd think. Argentina away.
It's a hell
no
of a
one's
first.
idea of of an easy stretch.
Another first warm-up game for the Lions as well. Throwing that scratch side together.
Ram on the break.
Sorry.
Transfer is good from Mayana Vanua to Iogun. Mitchell got it in fields, but forwards, and guess who was sniffing?
He's not afraid of that little chip over the top, is he? And just wanting someone to run a line, that's brilliant. Over the shoulder, isn't it?
1 and number 3, subs, please. What, on the penalty? This side. Sorry, this side. This line. It's collapsing. 1 and 3 subs, please.
There's the little knock on from Mitchell.
1 and 3 subs, let's go. Number 3, please.
New props for sale. Bevan rods coming off after a successful outing in the tight and in the loose. A try for him this evening, and 100 appearances well marked. Replaced by Cy McIntyre, and Asher Opoku for Jaw makes way as well. Will Griff-John, the Welsh international, onto the tight head.
Could be a big summer to Argentina for those two lads coming off the pitch right now. They'll fancy it, they'll be tested.
No greater test of a scrummaging prop than the Pumas in their own backyard, apparently.
Yeah.
Crooks! Bind! Set!
Again, Saints
wanting to make too much of an impact. Big hit, threw everything into it, but feet too far back.
Here, there you go.
How tight to the 5-metre line can Mitchell put that?
See how much he's on his toes. No give really. When he starts to slip, no contingency, and that knee goes down right in front of the referee's assistant.
Options here for Langdon. Kemeny at the back. Coles calls it to himself towards the front and leaps up. Mitchell gets it away. Odendahl to ground. Wide from James. Nowhere to go for Tommy Freeman. And Joe Carpenter saw that coming some time away. And the sparks are just beginning to fly a little bit here.
Carpenter knows exactly what he's doing, just stays over the top of Freeman in the tackle for a fraction of a second.
Two captains.
Here's the pass, a little bit telegraphed, we saw one earlier. Carpenter's right there, drags him into touch and just goes and gets in the face of Freeman. Actually puts his hands around the net.
Should be a penalty.
Absolutely should be.
Right.
That's what starts all this.
You both agree that's not acceptable what's happening after the ball, okay? Appreciate the celebrations, but just make sure it's away from them, okay? Have a word with your teams, please. Yeah, have a word.
Doesn't look as if any further sanction will be applied.
You're on it there. Good man. Okay, time back on, please.
Sharks ball at the line out.
Hold there, 5.
Good competition from Kemeny.
Line's yours.
Good steal, just unlucky with how it comes off his hand. Goes straight out into touch.
5. Beyond 15.
Van Rijn for War.
Touched.
And Ford has given that quite a bit, but he's picked out James Ram, who shows it to the inside, heads to the outside, and it's been knocked on.
Yeah.
Proper momentum killer. So a reminder of all the rugby coming your way on TNT Sports this weekend. The Rec tomorrow from 2:30 for Bath against Quins. Stockton Singer is fit for Bath, and Quins have drafted back in their England internationals, the likes of Marcus Smith and Chandler Cunningham, South, Finn Baxter. They're all back in action. 2:30 for that one. Chiefs, Newcastle, the bottom two, going head-to-head from 2:45 on Discovery Plus.
Keep it consistent.
And Gloucester, Bristol from 5:15, which you would think will have a few points in it, potentially. Yeah. A couple of Atkinsons in the midfield as well, so good luck to Nick tomorrow with Charlie and Seb at 10 and 12 for Gloucester. AJ McGinty is fit once more for the Bristol Bears as well, so that's an important selection. Carrera's playing at 15 for the Cherry and Whites. And don't forget, we're also live from 1:30 tomorrow morning from Hong Kong. The HSBC Sevens continuing from Kai Tak Sports Arena, TNT 2 and Discovery Plus.
Looks lively.
Looks all right, doesn't it? Brian looked very happy.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to be in Salford, to be honest.
Who wouldn't?
Crouch! Bind! Set! 2, 3, squeeze! And go! Balls out!
Proper mess of a scrum. Picked up by Jean-Luc Dupré.
Use it!
And War looks for that little pod of forwards.
Use it.
She goes from War, might have wanted a fraction more distance. It's gone forwards though from James Ram, so we're back to a scrum. The game has just lost its fluency for a few moments as we see a handful of players readying themselves for action from the Saints bench, and it's their turn to change their props. Tarek Hafar on at loose head for Manny Iogun, and Luke Green for Trevor Davison.
Talking about Gus Wall's kicking game, he kicks the ball a lot, but what's actually so impressive, the quality of his kicking and how Sale really uses it as a weapon. Tommy Roebuck is excellent in the air, but second for retained kicks. That's a real feature of their game, to be able to march their way up in such an economic way.
Crouch! Bind! Set! 2, 3, squeeze!
So success there for Cy McIntyre, for Luke Cowan-Dickey and Will Griff-John in the first instance, and as a collective of course too. So Ford will want some proper territory here.
The referee's assistant had called at the previous scrum that Northampton infringed. New front row have arrived since then. Just that fold, lowering down, hinging on that loose head side.
Blue line, stay on it. Blue, come in.
Tarek Hafar, new man.
Addison did well to ride that challenge from Tom James. War, McIntyre. Out it comes for Cowan-Dickey. Pollock there to meet him. Ford. Nice pick up from Rob Dupré. And they've made it inside the 22 through Carpenter. War again. Plenty of options for Ford. Lovely tip on. Rob Dupree. Now then, potentially the overlap. O'Flaherty races for the line. Is prevented from offloading by Tommy Freeman's tackle. Ford now sucking in those defenders and releasing Jean-Luc Dupree. Important tackle from Kemeny. Addison now working the feet. 9-10 metres out from the try line. Ball's gone forwards.
Offside.
But Saint straying offside.
Well, Freeman does stop this offload because Van Rijn was walking in with his power. Certainly only going to be a side-on tackle, but nice play to the outside. Carpenter straightens up. They've worked that well as they come back.
Post call.
Cowan-Dickey with the lovely hands. Dupree takes his time, allows Flaherty to race for the line. That ball back on the inside. Could have gone, really, couldn't it? You've got to be aware. I know he backs himself, but you've also got to be aware of where your support is back on that inside, because I think if he goes to pass early, Van Rijn's going over there.
Henry Pollock replaced by Tom Pearson. The numbers are decent. That knee just clearly a little bit of a concern, but the points have been banked here by George Ford, and they open up a 10-point advantage. Here's another look at the solo effort from Henry Pollock. And of course, let's not forget the break that led to the Manny Iogun score that really dragged Saints back into the contest, gave them the belief that they could mix it this evening after a very tough opening.
It's gone very well.
Set, please.
Johnny Hill replaced by Haron Andrews, and Sam Dugdale replacing Tom Curry.
Not a bad replacement for Pollock as well, is it? So Pearson's probably a bit frustrated with all the chat at the moment. See what he can add to the party. Here he is, straight in for the first tackle.
Not the cleanest of strikes off the restart from Alex Mitchell. The absence of those more regulation fly halves causing all manner of difficulty, really, on a number of levels. The restarts, as we know, considered another set piece of the game, really. And if you're unable to get accuracy on them, it's another area you kind of have to just, well, not quite write off, but park at least here and there.
I'm surprised more teams aren't more aggressive with their restarts and trying to get the ball back. It's a brilliant way just to be able to get decent set piece.
How many of them?
Odendal's carried hard today. Coles, Tariq Afar tries to go through the middle, but it's been knocked on. And Saints at the moment kind of stymieing themselves. The handling errors just beginning to stack to uncomfortable levels.
They've turned up, Saints, haven't they? They'll be proud of how they've responded to a few challenges. Firstly, in what's happened before the game, but then how the game started against them. But this is the crucial moment now. They're going to want to come away with the points winning this game. They have to do something. They can't afford to. They've just sort of crept back into giving away more penalties than Sale, more handling errors than Sale. You've got to be accurate now in this last sort of this period of 5 minutes, I reckon, because the game could go away from them now. They're still in it just, but they have to score next.
Yeah, it does feel that way, and of course that penalty from Ford taking Sale out of range of the converted try. But here giving up the penalty at scrum time.
No, back you go. Second time, back you go.
On your point, Ben, massive now. Mitchell's got to take his time, be accurate, and try and punch.
Oof. Has he got that wrong? He's got it just the wrong side of the flag by the look of things. But he went hard at it.
And I don't mind that, because I think he's been short on a number of his kicks. I mean, that is tight.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get ready to go, please.
So difficult. These are, they're not skills unique to somebody with 10 on their back, are they? But you're doing them every week. That's the kind of kick that you can hone.
It's a different style of kick. It was a around the corner kick, wasn't it? If you watch any of the 10s, they'll go straight so that the hinge of the leg goes straight towards where they want, and that kick faded away right at the last minute to the right.
Another penalty here has been awarded to Northampton.
He gets another go.
Offside.
From slightly further out and slightly further infield. So, inside the 22 this time. 11 minutes to play. Just to reiterate, Northampton will be dead and buried from the playoff race with defeat here this evening. Everything resting on it. Pearson with the dummy line. Instead, it's dragged forwards by Joano Augustus. Tarek Afar, we know his carrying prowess. Mitchell. Good power in the carry from Pearson. Mitchell again. They're here for their try bonus point potentially. Hendy always giving the ball away.
Addison needs to be removed from the field. In fact, Rob Dupree is just pointing the medic to him.
Be on side, please. 11. Okay.
Bamba rolls forwards.
Side, please. Back foot. Full bind.
And the clearance is affected by Gus Waugh, and it does look as if Will Addison will be removed from the field of play.
Just
Head on wrong side tackle.
Okay.
Aaron Reid
Time's off. Okay,
will replace him.
Coming on, 22.
This is the tackle that he made, and the head was on the wrong side of a clattering Tom Pearson.
Tried to give the line speed, but he was out of control, couldn't react.
You let me know when you're happy, please. Line, please.
Thankfully, the medics do their job really well.
Mitchell. Odendahl employed again in those tight exchanges.
Hands away!
Dingwall for Odendahl. Double tackle. Dupree and Van Rijn. Pearson, nice tip on. Coles is held. It's proving hard work. Puncturing the line instead. It's fallen to Reid, and Reid is nearly away. Freeman somehow brought him down, and it would take someone of the speed of Freeman to catch Aaron Reid. Pretty much everyone else on the field of play would have been beaten, you suspect, in a straight-up foot race, and Saints now have the penalty. Side entry against the Sale Sharks. Once more, tempers flaring.
Don't see George Ford throwing a few handbags very often, do you? Been tasty tonight.
Has been.
Here we go. Let's go.
Such a calm, measured, composed human being is George Ford. It's so unusual seeing him riled in that way.
Good positioning, Jack.
How good is this tackle, though? Because when Reid gets it, the acceleration's huge. Feet moving so quickly that Freeman glides up behind him, completes the tackle.
Time still off.
It's a little bit of a shame we didn't see them just for another 10 metres or so, just to give us all a flavour of the out-and-out gas.
Stay on your mark. Let's go. Mark.
Tyg McElroy is on now for Cowan Dickey, and here he is. First carry of the game for the Northern Irishman.
No 50,
Waugh,
22.
space in behind. Mitchell chasing across.
No 50, 22.
And that was from within the Saints half,
No,
so
take it back in.
possession at the line out
The line is yours.
for Northampton. Oh, hello. Oh, it's taken back in, wasn't it?
No, it's too late. I wanted to go quick.
Long from Langdon. Picking out Odendale on that run beyond the 22. Mitchell for the chase from Freeman, and he's clobbering Aaron Reid. The presentation is good though.
Use it.
Support work strong as well. Jean-Luc Dupré.
Tackle! Use it, 9!
Three in the backfield. Ram takes charge, but the challenge from Reid leads to the ball falling for Freeman. Hafar. No change out of Cy McIntyre. Mayana Vanua. Very strong in that channel. Sale as the Saints back row have tried to find space in and around the ruck. Mitchell's found some here. Brought down by Carpenter ultimately. Popped away by Augustus. Here's Langdon. Back on familiar territory, of course, former Sharks man, and Mayana Vanua looking to free the arms up. Langdon again. Augustus. Roebuck in there. And Roebuck a little slow to get back into position, and some canny work from the base.
I tell you what, they're getting penalties, they're getting field position. The only thing missing is their level of accuracy finishing. They're getting chance after chance where it was missing the corner. Okay, that's a decent searching kick. To your point, Ben, you made it about 5 minutes ago, but they need to score. Need to actually get something tangible on the scoreboard to qualify all the effort.
On your mark there, please.
That's a decent kick from that distance. Yep. Give them the best platform. We know that they can drive, but they have tended to go off the top in this game from this close.
Pearson, the provider. Hendy barrelling his way into the midfield where Roebuck was waiting for him. Saints sitting outside of bonus point territory at the moment, both in terms of tries and getting within 7. It's free. Mitchell, Pearson. They're so close here. Alex Mitchell, one more big carry. Hafar is short and has to turn.
Got numbers wide.
Throwing the dummy, and Dingwall makes it. There's the try bonus for the Saints. They won't be finished yet. Conversion should be a straightforward affair, and there is still plenty of time. The captain taking charge of operations.
Thank you.
Well, really, really good patience. They were accurate this time. Pearson nearly got there, and then everyone expecting that long wide pass. Dingwall just backs himself, throws the loopy dummy, and then just turns and pivots and has the power to go over the line.
7 points in the bag. 3 now the difference, and 4 minutes left.
Well, a draw's no good for Saints. They want the win. They've got that bonus point now, the try bonus. They needed to keep any hope of Premiership glory this year alive.
Let's go.
And the atmosphere in the stadium's changed a little bit. A little bit of nervousness now from Sale fans.
It was just a bit flat for a 10-minute spell, but now this is tasty, and everything is on the line for Northampton. They will know it all too well.
Hands away, blue leaf, ball out.
It's important now for Sale just to not give any cheap penalties defensively. We know they'll muscle up, but don't give Saints an easy exit. They're going to look to play.
Hold in front.
Looking for a little bit of breathing space. So James has sent it long. Ford is in the backfield. Carpenter, hop and a skip. And the ball dislodged. Taken quickly by Tom James. They know the clock's against them. Ram feeds Coles. Hafar. Really explosive ball in hand. Kemeny riding a big tackle from Cy McIntyre. And Sale working at the breakdown. And it's one of their smallest numbers at the base. It's Tom O'Flaherty who's come up with the killer turnover.
Yeah, there, please.
Oh, rips it, doesn't he, initially in contact, then goes back down onto the ball.
Might just have shut the door on Northampton Saints. They've allowed for George Ford to plant them inside the 22 again. There's the tail of the tape in terms of away defeats for Northampton. It's a shocking run, really, and they've lost on each of their last 7 visits here as well. Sale looking to close it out and continue their march up the table, but they've lost the ball. One more shot here for Northampton. Width and space for Ram. Brought down by Rob Duprea. James wants it. Still fishing around for possession. Augustus rounds Jean-Luc Duprea and rounds Cy McIntyre. Dingwall to Mayana Vanua. They've got to find 60-odd metres here. As Ben was mentioning, that draw, no good to them. The penalty or the drop goal, no good to them. Those are the stakes that they've left themselves through the course of this campaign. Langdon, ever willing. He's carried really well through the course of this evening. They've got a penalty advantage now. Augustus trucks it up. And that's gone to no one in particular, but always with that advantage.
Knew they had that shot, took a risk, tried throwing it over the top, hoping the player out there would have just taken a gamble too. And that's decent field position. They like to attack from this space. They often don't try and push it too far towards the line with some of their penalty kicks.
Listen to the noise now. Clock in the red. One last shot for Saints. Possession is good. And the surge is strong from Pearson. Dingwall, James, Ram. Desperate defending from Sale. And there's the breakdown penalty. Joe Carpenter coming up trumps. And they have seen off the defending champions. Not only that, they put a definitive end to Saints' title defence here in Salford. Celebration time for Alex Sanderson. A bonus point win, which sends them hurtling up the table and into the top 4 for now. They have big ambitions. And they've left it just a little bit late, as they tend to do. But they've come out on top here tonight, having scored 4 tries and sunk Saints by 27 points to 24.
Well, in terms of player of the match, I think Gus Waugh had a superb game. Really difficult to choose one for Sale because it was an ultimate team performance, really. But for me, the player that maybe just stood out ahead of everyone and got that crucial turnover a few minutes ago, Tom O'Flaherty. Nice crossfield kick for the try early on as well. Some good carrying around the field. He's our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Top performance from Sale. They'll be really pleased with their defensive work, their physicality and their try-scoring ability. For Northampton, minimum standard, we expected to see a response and a reaction. We certainly got that. So much adversity, 2 yellow cards in the first half, but to score 4 tries and play the way in which they did with players missing, they'll be happy with that. However, focus turns to Europe this week.
So much disruption for Northampton to cope with, as you mentioned, Hugo. No Finn Smith, no regulation fly half. So hard to come away from home and win here at the Salford Community Stadium anyway, and particularly off the back of that drubbing by the Tigers. Tough times for Northampton. Their title challenge is done. Sail, march on, Emma.